Thank you for joining us here at Lowry Sports Rhetoric. I'm your host, Nathan.
And I'm Daimon.
And today we're going to continue in the NFC North with the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, the Green Bay Packers.
This should be fun.
The Green Bay Packers.
This will be fun.
All right, let's go.
2021, they went 13-4. They were first in the NFC North. They lost the divisional to the 49ers 10-13 in a very fun game to watch. It was a good one.
Common theme with the Green Bay Packers. First in the North, losing the playoffs to a team that they shouldn't.
This is going to be fun.
Common theme.
All right. Last year they were offensively 10th in yards and 10th in points. Defensively, they were 9 in yards allowed and 14th in points allowed. A solid team. A very solid team.
Yeah.
That's a good team.
No, it is.
Their GM, Brian Gutekunst, 2018 to present, that's 4 years. And then Matt LaFleur, 2019 to now, that's 3 years. He's 41-13. Personally, I think that he's doing a great job. I think that they're doing a great job.
I mean, I guarantee those guys are underpaid because they got to deal with the biggest prima donna in football. So, they got to deal with that. They're not getting paid enough. I know that.
41-13 is pretty good.
That is.
That is pretty good.
That is.
That's pretty good. I like him.
Well, that prima donnas are talented.
Yeah. Matt LaFleur seems like a good coach to me. He really does.
Yeah, I mean, Rodgers didn't think so at first, and now he does.
He does, yeah.
He came around.
Yeah. And Brian Gutekunst, whatever. He's done some things that
I don't think Brandon Rodgers thinks he's very good.
No,
at least publicly he does. I mean, he has paid Aaron Rodgers everything he has to be paid, so maybe he likes that aspect of him as a GM. Yeah. But at least publicly he complains about every other aspect of him as a GM, other than getting paid.
I think he has done some questionable things in the draft. I think that is true. I feel that way. I personally do.
Not this year.
I think that the jumble with not this year.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But I think the whole jumble with Jordan Love, which, can I just say first off, I don't.
You don't love you some Jordan Love?
Yeah, I don't fully, even at the moment, I didn't.
No, I know you didn't.
I did not fully understand what was going on with that. You know what I mean? It was why? I just the whole thing, whatever. But I get, and he didn't even associate with, he didn't talk to Rodgers about it. It wasn't something that they talked about. I think that the level of disrespect that Aaron Rodgers had to have felt in that moment,
Well, okay, so I think you got to look at it from this standpoint. I don't think they ever expected Love to be there. Love was pre-draft. He was a top 10 pick by a lot of people.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
But he was.
Yeah, I get that. It was.
So you got a young GM. At the time, he was in his second year. A new head coach. So these guys, and they're not guys that were GMs and head coaches before. This is their first job for both of them, I believe. So they've never really, they don't have that experience.
And they're facing a possible retiring.
They don't know how long Rodgers is going to be around. He'd already threatened to leave before at that point because, pay him some money. So they went, this quarterback fell in the draft. He's there for us. Let's jump on it. And they made the mistake of not calling their prima donna quarterback ahead of time and saying, look, we're not doing this because we don't love you. We're doing this because we can't believe this asset fell to us, which apparently is all he wanted. Or maybe he just wanted to get paid more.
I think
is it a mistake? Is it a mistake? Yes, it's a mistake. But is it an unforgivable mistake?
No.
It shouldn't be. Yeah, I mean, some people think so.
He's still there. I mean, that's obvious that he forgave them.
Yeah, or maybe he always forgave him and he just wanted to use it as a chip to get more money.
I disagree. I think that I agree with some of the stuff that I do think that they make some questionable decisions there in the draft.
Look, relax, okay? Just relax. They're going to be fine.
All right,
they're going to be fine.
Let's move on past this and get onto the free agencies. Again, I like LaFleur. He's never going to like anything Green Bay does. But anyways.
I like LaFleur.
Sure.
You know what I like best about LaFleur? That Aaron Rodgers didn't like him and then he did.
Anyways. Free agent additions. All right, you got Pat O'Donnell. He's the punter from Chicago.
He's a good punter. We didn't want to pay him, so we let him walk.
Now he's not your division rival. What a shame.
It's going to stink when he has good punts.
All right, Jaron Reed, defensive tackle from Kansas City. Sammy Watkins, wide receiver out of Baltimore. Over the hill guy, really honest.
Yeah, he's been on a lot of teams too.
I mean, he had one of the fastest drops of Like from being talented to not, I think. Like, I mean, not that he's
Yeah, it
not
was like
talented.
from like his senior year of college, he was like the best wide receiver there was.
He even played well his first few years in the league.
His first couple years
really
with Buffalo, and then it was just like
it
he
just
fell
dropped.
off.
I mean, it just dropped.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So he's a name, but I don't know how good of a piece he is.
I don't believe so. Yeah. All right, Dallin Leavitt, safety from Vegas, and then Keyshawn Nixon, cornerback from Vegas as well. So bringing in a couple secondaries in there.
Not a lot there.
And then free agent losses. Zadarius Smith going to Minnesota.
He's good.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt them.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying that's going to hurt them.
It will hurt them.
Hey, but Rodgers is the highest paid quarterback in the league, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, whatever it is, if you can bring young talent in to replace them people, then okay. You know what I mean?
See.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling to Kansas City, wide receiver.
I mean, I like his upside.
Yeah.
He's better than Sammy Watkins at this point in their careers.
I mean, you would have to think so. I would have to think so.
I think so. Well, when we get to the draft, we'll talk. I don't think he's better than those guys they drafted.
But I'll throw in something about Sammy Watkins when we get there too. So,
okay.
All right. Free agent losses continued. Lucas Patrick, guard, Chicago.
Love me some Lucas Patrick.
Yeah.
I'll take him over the punter any day.
All right. Oren Burks, inside linebacker to San Francisco. Billy Turner, guard to Detroit. Chandon Sullivan, cornerback to Minnesota. Corey Bajorges, punter to Cleveland. Dennis Kelly, right tackle to Indianapolis. I'm not. Anyways.
I'm not.
Tyler Larcaster, defensive end to Vegas. Isaac Yadom, cornerback to Houston. And then Equinamius St. Brown, wide receiver to Chicago. Did I do that right?
I think it was pretty close, yeah.
Okay.
Former.
Take a deep breath. I practiced that one a couple times.
Former Fighting Irish player.
Yeah.
Word is he's got a massive chip on his shoulder that Green Bay let him go.
Good for you guys. I hope you get some
play. But I think, was he one of the guys that got injured? I think he might have been. We've had like 5 wide receivers get injured in the last week. And he might have been one of them. I don't remember. I can't keep track.
All right. I mean, so like, yeah, I mean.
But the biggest loss is the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think they lost. They definitely. There's no doubt they lost more than they brought in free agency wise. There's no doubt. And this is what I'm going to talk about when we get into the Rodgers talk.
I don't think it's like a massive like difference. You know what I mean? Like.
I think they lost. I think they had 2 offensive linemen that are good that left, and they didn't replace those guys.
That's true.
I think that the 2 wide receivers that left. Maybe the guys are better. They're more talented that they brought in, but they don't have any experience.
Okay. We'll address this.
They didn't bring anybody in that can. Well, okay. Smith is really good. Maybe the guy they brought in the draft can replace him, but again, not in the next year or two, which is the Super Bowl window.
That's the big one. That's the one that I think hurts the most, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
So yeah, I think the one that hurts the most is the next one you're going to say. And look, I mean, again, I hate to I'm going to be beating a dead horse with this during this video, but when Rodgers always demands to be the highest paid quarterback, not that he shouldn't be. But when you demand that, there's going to be some repercussions, and this is the repercussions. You lose some guys in free agency.
Yeah. Okay. Trades. Devontae Adams, wide receiver to the Raiders for a 22 first and a 22 second. Look, anybody who's watching this video knows who Devontae Adams is. That guy is a beast. He really.
And they didn't lose him because of money, because they were going to pay him, and he was like, "I want to leave anyway."
Yeah, and I really don't view that as a knock on Rodgers. Like I don't believe.
The man goes through a lot of wide receivers.
Okay, that's fine. But
the only thing he goes through more than wide receivers is starlets.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay, well,
he goes through a lot of wide receivers and a lot of starlets. I'm just saying.
Rodgers got some personality problems.
I'm just saying.
Damn
he
good
goes through a lot of.
Damn good quarterback. And Devontae Adams just has a really good relationship with Carr. Obviously, we know that from their time in college together. They were fun to watch. And I think he's been he wanted to get in this situation. You know what I mean? It's not. I don't think it's a knock on.
He's not the first wide receiver that left Aaron Rodgers.
Okay,
he's got. There's a bunch of them that have.
I mean, he gets some personality problems. Yeah, not everybody can have long-term relationships all the time. Okay.
Okay.
I feel for you, Rodgers. I feel for you.
Well,
I'm just saying. Personality issues. Okay.
I'm just saying.
We're going to go ahead and get into the draft.
Let's talk about the draft. This will be my moment of positivity towards the Green Bay Packers.
Not talking about how I relate to dating starlets like Aaron Rodgers. All right, Packers draft. Round 1, number 22. We've got Quay Walker, inside linebacker out of Georgia.
Talented.
Extremely talented.
Talented.
Yeah, I like this guy a lot. I like him a lot. Round 1, number 28, Devontae Wyatt, defensive tackle out of Georgia.
Talented.
Double dipping from an extremely good defense.
Talented player.
Both those guys are really good.
I didn't like to see them draft either one of them.
I'm sure not. All right, round 2, number 34, Christian Watson, wide receiver, North Dakota State.
One of my favorite players in the draft.
I mean, me too.
Hated me seeing him go there.
Me too.
But he's not Devontae Adams.
That's true.
He might be in 3 years, but he's not right now.
That's right, and 100% correct. All right, round 3, number 92, Sean Ryan, offensive lineman out of UCLA. A lot of upside there.
Maybe he could be good. I don't know that there's no guarantees with any offensive lineman ever, especially not in the third round. And again, they lost a couple of good linemen. I don't think there's no way right now he's at the level of talent as what Billy Turner was that left.
Sure.
So, again, that's a loss.
Sure. All right, but I'm just saying.
It was a good draft pick.
It's a good draft pick.
Everything you've said so far has been a good draft. And the next name on there.
Round 4, number 132, Romeo Doubs, wide receiver out of Nevada.
I love me some Romeo Doubs.
I have to say, value-wise, like just round 4 for this guy, I mean, I really, really feel like this guy's second-round talent. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to be good.
Yeah, so far, what they've done at this point in the draft has been phenomenal. They got some really good players there.
But to your point, and we've said this in other videos too, Rodgers is aging, so you've got this window now with these young guys that do look good. They look good at these skill positions. Hopefully they can pick up on it right away, step on the field and play. I think you've seen a lot more come out of college lately that have been able to do that, so it is possible. But to your point, it is, you lose good. It's not like they wanted to lose Devontae Adams. I get it. But
yeah.
All right, round 4, number 140, Zach Tom, offensive lineman out of Wake Forest. This guy actually did show up on my radar quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I think that this might be a guy who gets a lot more talent out of that round 4 than people maybe originally think.
Long term, but from everything I like this guy. I had him on the Bears radar, but everything I heard was
not ready.
He's going to need time to develop. He's not NFL ready. He's not a guy that can just plug and play.
A good pick for the future.
But he has some potential that he could be a good pick for the future. Yeah.
Absolutely. Round 5, number 179, Kingsley Enigbar, outside linebacker out of South Carolina.
Don't know anything about him.
I don't either. Round 7, number 228, Tariq Carpenter. They got him listed as a safety / inside linebacker from Georgia Tech.
So that means he was a linebacker in college, but he's undersized to be an NFL linebacker, so maybe he'll move to safety.
I like guys like that.
That means that's a project. It's probably a special teams guy. Maybe he ends up being something, maybe not.
Yeah. Round 7, number 234, Jonathan Ford, defensive tackle out of Miami. Don't know much about him either. Round 7, number 249, Rasheed Walker, offensive tackle out of Penn State. And then round 7, number 258, Simone Toure, wide receiver out of Nebraska. Don't know much about them either. Round 7, not too surprising.
Now, the back half of that draft, when we talked about how deep this draft was, there was a lot of teams at 6th, 7th round got guys I really liked.
Sure.
The back half of that draft I'm not so familiar with.
Yeah, I think all the way up
the
until
top part of that draft was really good.
Really good. And really good value for what they got in those positions, I feel like.
I can't I can't complain. I don't think.
But again, it does go to the issue of Aaron Rodgers getting older, and you've got young talent there, but not as much in the veteran standpoint as it was. So. All right, but let's get into our starters. We've got, obviously, at quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, 4,115 yards, 37 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions.
I mean, ridiculous, but we know he's ridiculous.
He is ridiculous.
Here's the thing that matters, and this is look, I'm going to say it. You're not going to like it, but I'm going to say it. The only thing that matters is he lost to the 49ers in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean,
he's been ridiculous numbers his entire career. One Super Bowl.
Yeah, man.
I mean, that's look
more than some people.
Sure. How many people with his talent have less than one, or only have one Super Bowl?
I mean, that was the big thing with Peyton for a long time too. I mean, he went to the Broncos.
But he's got 2.
Yeah, because he went to the Broncos.
But he's got 2, and he's been there for 3 or 4. He's been there for 4.
He was there for 4.
I mean, that's there's a reason in my mind. There's a reason that Rodgers is so talented, but yet they've only been to 1 Super Bowl, and it's not the GM. It's not the coach. It's not all the wide receivers that he's gone through. It's not. It's not. I mean, look, those guys. I don't know. There's been some talented teams.
I think that they have made some questionable decisions in drafting in the past. I think that they have.
I think they've had a lot of talent, and they've had to let that talent walk because Rodgers always wanted to be paid. I think that Rodgers loves him some Rodgers. I think that they haven't always had the running game that they should have. Even when they brought in good running backs, they haven't leaned on them the way they should have.
Okay, but they struck out like the one guy, what's his name, that ended up eating himself to
Lacey.
Lacey, who was like one of the best, like that dude was a beast, you know what I mean? So they struck out in some of those areas.
Well, maybe he ate himself to death because Aaron Rodgers bullied him to it.
Maybe.
It's possible.
Maybe.
It's possible.
No, actually,
you don't have any proof that that's not true.
No, but I know. Anyways, there's stories out there about the guy where I know exactly what happened. So, anyways.
Was it some munchies problems?
No, it was.
Oh yeah.
No,
Physical problems?
No, he had depression issues from deaths in the family, people that were very close to him, and so therefore he leaned on eating, where some people would lean on drugs and this and that.
Gotcha.
That was a big problem of his, even when he was a kid. Yes. So I didn't really want to get into that, which I was trying to avoid.
Well, I'm sorry.
I wanted to push it.
I was curious. That's good to know. Good information for me because I thought Aaron Rodgers bullied him into it.
No.
So
anyways, that was sad, and
that is sad. That's terrible.
Lacey was a really good back. I liked him a lot.
But here's the thing. Even when this is part of my point, though. Even when Lacey was there and they leaned on him to be he was fantastic, and then the playoffs would roll around, and you know what Rodgers would do? Well, audible, because it's got to be him. It's all about him.
Anyways,
RELAX.
Let's move on.
I'm going to get my numbers and I'm going to get my money.
How about
we're going to lose in the playoffs?
Current running back instead of talking about some of the other ones?
Let's move on.
Currently, they have Aaron Jones. Last year, 799 yards, 4 touchdowns, 391 reception yards, and then 6 touchdowns.
He's a sick running back, and I think on other teams those numbers would be even better.
Yeah, I agree with you. I actually do believe that as well.
I believe he's a really good running back.
I believe that as well. If they leaned on him more, I do believe that, yes. However, I don't know. I would lean on Aaron Rodgers, but that's just me.
Yeah, but okay, so when I know you don't want to beat this to death, but when Brady's been at his best, they've had running game.
Okay.
When Peyton Manning was at his best, they've had running game. Maybe Aaron Rodgers should learn and have some running. Elway for years relied on himself, and then he finally let TD run. And what did he do? He won some Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying. I think there's some faults to Aaron Rodgers that holds as good as he is, and as good as Green Bay's been in his time there. I think there's some things that he could do differently that would make them better. That's all.
All right. Let's get into wide receivers. Allen Lazard. 40 receptions, 513 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Sammy Watkins coming over from Baltimore, 27 receptions, 394 yards, and 1 touchdown last year. And then Randall Cobb, 28 receptions, 375 yards, and 5 touchdowns. And then you have Robert Tonyan, 18 receptions, 204 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I didn't stress in some videos, I kind of skipped past it. These are projected starters. I just want to point that out there. Because I do not for a second
believe... Those 2 guys they drafted are going to be better than these guys.
I do not for a second believe that is going to be your starting 3 wide receivers throughout the whole thing.
There's no way.
Lazard's got upside there. I do like Lazard. I think he makes some plays. Watkins and Randall Cobb are both too old to do anything. Cobb adds some.
You got to let the rookies earn it, and maybe they'll struggle their first year.
Here's my thing: is that you're talking about 2 guys who have a reputation with Sammy Watkins and Randall Cobb as being intelligent guys who work well with young players, and I could see that adding some benefit instead of being divas, where some of these guys are divas.
Sure.
These are 2 examples of guys that, from what I understand, do work well with young receivers, and I think that is the most important for both of the receivers that they got in the draft.
I'm just going to say this. If they have any chance of getting past the first round of the playoffs, they better lean on not Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Jones. Because that receiving core is not going to get it done.
It's going to be spotty, especially because, like I said, I do believe that those rookies are going to be getting a lot more work in there than...
Yeah, and they're rookies.
And they're rookies.
They're rookies.
Talented rookies.
So you got veterans. You got veterans that are past their prime, and rookies. And Allen Lazard has some upside.
Yeah.
But he has not shown at this point anyway that he's a carry the team type wide receiver.
And I'm not quite sure that he is that.
Yeah, I think...
You know what I mean? One of these...
A good number 2 maybe.
2 guys are going to be that.
Yeah.
I mean, I really think in the future those are going to be 2 really good wide receivers.
I agree with you, but it ain't going to do them for this year's playoff.
I mean, totally right.
They better lean on Aaron Jones more than they have in the past.
And perhaps they will.
Well,
all right.
They might want to. That doesn't mean they will.
We'll
find out.
All right. Here's the starting offensive line here. It's David Bacteria, Bacteria.
Gosh, that can't be his name. That can't be right.
Bactari. I think it's like Bactari. Yeah. I'm terrible with some of these names.
I hope he doesn't get Aaron Rodgers sick.
Bacteria. Oh God. Let's just not even on that one.
Oh, sorry.
All right, John Runyon at guard, Josh Myers at center, Jake Hansen at guard, and Elton Jenkins at tackle.
John Runyon, Cobb, and Watkins would have been a heck of a people in the huddle 10 years ago.
I mean, for real.
Not at this point, not so much.
Think it was like maybe like 8 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure.
I was way off. All right, move on.
All right.
Now look, this is the side of the ball that might get them in the playoffs because I think they got some talent here.
Yeah. Okay, you get into defense here. You're looking at defensive end Dean Lowry, or Lowney. Anyways, Lowry, I think. 42 tackles, 5 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, and 4 pass deflects. Nose tackle, you got Kenny Clark, 48 tackles, 4 sacks, 1 fumble recovery.
He's good. And
defensive end Jaron Reed, coming over from the Chiefs, 43 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of upside with that too as well.
Yeah.
And then linebacker. Preston Smith, 38 tackles, 9 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, 2 pass deflects. Pretty good play there. Inside linebacker Devontae Campbell, 146 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, 2 interceptions. And then inside linebacker Quay Walker, the rookie. And then linebacker Rashawn Gary, 47 tackles, 9.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery. Good linebacking core.
I think good front seven.
Yeah,
I think good front seven. Yeah. Not one of the best in the league, but solid.
But definitely solid, competitive for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, and then the secondary, you've got cornerback Eric Stokes, who was a rookie last year with 55 tackles, 1 interception, and 14 pass deflects. It's a pretty damn good play out of a rookie.
I think they got to be stoked about that rookie season.
He did stand out even when we watched him play. I mean, this was a kid who stood out, and anytime you're a rookie and you stand out that much, I mean, that's some high upside. So, strong safety Adrian Amos, 93 tackles, 2 interceptions, 8 pass deflects. Free safety Darnold Savage, 63 tackles, 2 interceptions, 9 pass deflects. And then cornerback Jerry Alexander, 13 tackles, 1 interception, 3 pass deflects. That's some pretty good play in their secondary. I think overall a very solid defense.
Yeah, it's a solid defense. So, I mean, this is the thing that it's like, I don't see Aaron Rodgers doing this personally because you know my opinion. I've made it very clear in this video. I think he's a prima donna. I think he's all about him. But they got a heck of a running back, and they got a really good defense. And if as a coaching staff and Aaron Rodgers buys in to the idea of, hey, we don't have to go out there and light the scoreboard up. Let's just play smart. Let's just, play good defense, play possession football, run the ball, and then score when we have the opportunities to score instead of trying to force it to these young wide receivers or guys that are over the hill. I think they could, they're going to be good, and that formula actually might be better in the playoffs than what we've seen from them in the past.
I think it would. I mean, yeah.
But personally, I believe that Aaron Rodgers won't do that because of what I believe about Aaron Rodgers, which is, he has a bigger chip on his shoulder about being drafted 28th than Brady has on his shoulder about being drafted in the 6th round. I think that says something. I think it's obvious what it says. I made the cheap joke about how he goes through all these starlets. He's gone through more wide receivers than starlets. I do think there's something to that, though. I think it points to an ego thing, that he's constantly dating all these people. I think maybe a little bit of jealousy towards Giselle. But anyway, just a thought. And the fact that he's constantly has to be the highest paid. If he's not the highest paid quarterback in the league, then he's complaining. And he's complaining about how they don't draft guys to help him and how they don't keep free agents. But yet he has to be the highest paid quarterback in the league all the time. Those things point to me, that tells me he's a certain kind of way. He's a great talent. You can't deny that.
No, he's extremely good.
But I think that there's this personality thing with him and this ego thing with him that keeps him from, there's a reason they've only had the 1 Super Bowl. I think that's, to me, there's a reason that they have had so many playoff upsets where it's like they lost how did Green Bay lose to the 49ers? And that's happened multiple times during his career.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you make very valid points. I definitely give you that. Personally, myself, I am a big fan of Aaron Rodgers. I like Aaron Rodgers a lot, even as a person, which is funny because I usually don't like people with massive egos. It's usually a big problem I have. But I do seem to like him. I agree with him. I think he's smart and he says a lot of things that I like. So I don't know. I like Aaron Rodgers, but and I root for him. I can definitely see what you're saying though. And I can see where it's, it doesn't, and I feel that way. We did that with Andrew Luck when we gave him the highest paid, and I think it did affect us as well. And I'm not sure that Andrew Luck actually necessarily was pushing for that. I believe that the reports coming out is that he wanted to take less, but Irsay was like, no, out of respect for you, I want to show you that we love you and give you that money, which is, I don't know. But yeah, so anyways. We'll go ahead and get on with this as far as what do we expect to see. Like how do you think that they did overall? Then okay for the season. I mean for the off season.
yeah, so I mean, I feel like we said, I think they lost more than they got in free agency.
Valuable veterans.
They lost a lot more than they got out of the free agency. They had a good front half of the draft, brought in some really good young players. The Adams thing hurts. Like the Adams thing absolutely hurts in my opinion.
It does.
But
I think they did some really good structure for the future.
They kept Aaron Rodgers. There was for a couple years now. There's been talk of him wanting out, and they got past that. They got past all of that. That was the drama. And look, as much as I talk about him, was I secretly thinking, like, man, if the Bears could trade for Aaron Rodgers, I'd be all over that. Of course I was wanting the Bears to trade for Aaron Rodgers.
Colts could trade for Aaron Rodgers?
Of course you were, because he's so talented. But, so yeah, I mean, obviously, there's that. So I think the number one thing they had to do was keep Aaron Rodgers. They had a good draft. They kept Aaron Rodgers. But the rest of the offseason, I'm not sure. I don't know. See, there's some things that I don't like there, but then some of that I almost point to, they had to do those things in order to keep Aaron Rodgers. So
yeah, I mean, to fulfill that contract money, I mean, you do, especially
yeah,
defensive players that are really good. When it's time to pay, you got to kind of recycle those guys out. But as we talked about, though, they recycled him. They lost some guys. As we just went through their defense, though, the people that are still on their team look very solid players, and they look like they're going to be a good defense as well.
But if they could have kept Zadarius Smith,
yes,
and then used that draft pick on a different position, maybe an offensive lineman. If they could have kept those offensive linemen in-house.
I think the lineman thing is a very valid.
So, like, if Aaron Rodgers takes $10 million less, then they probably keep those three players, right? Like, if he doesn't have to be the highest paid guy in the league, they probably keep. If he's just like, you know what, I've made a whole lot of money instead of getting, what's he get, $50 million a year? Is that what he's getting? 45? I think it's 45. But instead of getting $45 million next year, how about I just get 30, which is still a ridiculous large amount. And we can keep the offensive lineman and keep Zadarius Smith, and we'll probably be the absolute favorites to come out of the NFC next year. Like, we might even be better than the Rams now. But instead, he's got to get his money. And, I think they're definitely going to win the North. They're definitely going to win the North. But they're not going to get past Tampa Bay. They're not going to get past the Rams. And they might lose to one of these wild card teams, because they kind of have a history doing that. So hey, look, if you love winning the North and you love having the quarterback with the best numbers in the league, but losing in the first or second round of the playoffs, then hey, good for you. Like, good for you. I'd rather be the Rams and win the Super Bowl because you put together a team and then traded for a quarterback that was hungry to win and was about, hey, let's go to a team that can help me win, like that. And even Brady took less Brady for New England all the time. He even took less money. He restructured his contract so they could bring more players back this year after he came back from retirement. So, to me, those guys probably deserve to win more than Aaron Rodgers does, just because they're willing to do what it takes to win. But hey, Aaron Rodgers will light up the scoreboard, and he's a good quarterback, and he's going to get paid. He got paid, so good for him. That's what I feel like. That was a long-winded way of saying I don't envy the GM. Like I said at the beginning, they have to deal with. They get the luck of having Aaron Rodgers, but they also have to deal with Aaron Rodgers, and I think it handcuffs them at times in what they can do, and so they do what they have to do. I won't really have a good judge of those guys until Aaron Rodgers moves on and we see what they do post Aaron Rodgers. Is my thought.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us here at Lowry Sports Rhetoric. I am your host, Nathan. Oh.
Let's finish the video. Let's finish the video instead of beginning it. I'm not ready to start it. I don't think we want to redo that one.
Thank you for giving us a watch. If you got anything out of that content, give us a like, give us a subscribe.
Hit the comment button. Listen, I know Green Bay fans aren't going to be happy with what I just said. Fine, whatever. I'm a Bears fan. Even though I'm wearing my Florida State shirt instead of my Bears shirt, I'm a Bears fan. I bored him so much beating Aaron Rodgers to death, he was ready to start a new video. So I get it. You're probably not liking what I had to say. Put that in the comments. Let's hear some comments. Tell me why I'm wrong. I'd love to hear why I'm wrong. Because, look, I think he's talented. But tell me why I'm wrong about what I said. And then what do you think of your GM and your coach? Like, are they handcuffed by Aaron Rodgers, or did they do a fantastic job? I'm curious to see. We're always interested in what those other fan bases have to say.
I think there's some questionable things with them. So,
yeah.
Anyways, thank you for giving us a watch. We look forward to seeing you again next time.
Thank you.